Shop smart, shop S-smart.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of New Who Dis Part 2.
I've never actually done a part 2 before, and I was trying to think of something to give like a little bit of texture to like the thumbnail, so YouTube didn't think it was like the same thing, you know, because they're cracking down on AI and all that jazz. But so I was like, oh, Hot Charts Part 2, you know, so I figured I would just slap that on top because we've got Frank Walk back in the studio here to talk about Hellstones. What's going on, brother? Good to see you.
What's up? Thanks for having me back on, man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It was a little pre-campaign buzz.
Yeah,
just started. We're nearing the end of the campaign now, so just wanted to check in, see how things are going. Talk about everything, you know.
That's right. We talked about the book before it launched, and now it's after it's launched, and it's been awesome to see you going around to all the different shows, man, making the rounds, you know. And that's how you got to do it with these things, man. You know, you gotta build the buzz, build the hype, and go talk to all the different folks. You know, get the word out there.
Yeah, it's a hell of a grind, but you gotta do it.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get the word out there. I mean, you could have the best book in the world, and if people don't know about it, then they're not going to back it, you know, because they don't know about it. You know, you got to let people know that it's there, and that's half the battle. You know, not just knowing. You know, knowing may be half the battle, but the other half is going out there and getting the word out there and getting people to be interested in the book. You got to build that hype.
For sure, I would say for us indie artists, it's more than half the battle. I mean, not only do you have to have a good quality product, you know, art wise and creative writing wise, but
sure.
I mean, nobody is gonna know who you are, especially when you're first starting. You have to get out there. Word of mouth is the only thing that will work. Yep. You can't put money into, you know, ads on social media or anything like that. That stuff just doesn't work.
I mean, it might work in a small amount, because I have seen some crowdfunded ads. Band of the Crow was one. My buddy Arvid, you know, did Band of the Crow. This book right here, which is a fantastic book for anybody that's not familiar with it, is a fantastic book. But it's a crapshoot. You know, just like taking an ad in the newspaper, taking an ad anywhere, it's a crapshoot. And most people in this day and age, we are so desensitized to ads. We're so used to seeing ads all the time that we skip them. People seek out ad blockers on YouTube because they don't want to deal with ads.
Right.
So, again, as the age-old adage, word of mouth is the best advertisement. You know, it gets the word out there. You know, because people are more inclined to listen to their friends who have read something and been like, yo, hey, this is good. You should go check this out, you know, rather than, you know, seeing an ad somewhere. You know, I don't know. YouTube has never sold me anything. I have never once clicked on an ad on purpose, that is, that has been served to me on YouTube or Facebook. Okay, I take that back. On Facebook, sometimes they'll have like the Amazon ads, and I'll be like, what the hell is that? I need to see what that is. You know, I have yet to buy anything because of that, but I have clicked on, you know, an ad or two just because I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, what the hell am I looking at? What is this?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, so yeah, getting the word of mouth, going to talk to people, you know, getting the community involved, because I mean, this is crowdfunding, you know, we're got to get the nerds involved, man.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. And anyone that's, you know, aspiring to do something like this, you gotta have a thick skin. You got to be okay with being told no, or in most cases, just flat out being ignored.
Oh yeah.
And that's okay. People are busy. People might not have an interest in you or what you're selling or what you want to talk about. And that's okay. You just got to reach out to as many people as you can.
100%.
I've never done this before. I'm fortunate to know a few people like yourself that have a platform and have graciously allowed me to come on, not once but do. But I mean, that's not to say that I'm going to tell you right now. I sent out emails to literally 70 or 80 different podcasts. And by the time this campaign ends, I'll probably have about 13 or so, 15 maybe, podcast interviews that I've done, which isn't anything to shake a stick at, but that conversion rate is rough, and you got to know, and you got to be prepared, and you got to reach out to people early.
Well, it's I'm not a huge hockey fan, but I mean Wayne Gretzky is quoted as saying, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I mean, you at least got to try. You gotta reach out there, and I mean, the worst they can say is no. I mean, I guess the worst they can do is just ignore you. But I mean, if you get a response and they just say no, well then, hey, at least you got a response. Right. You don't have to worry about it. Right. But and at the end, at least you can say that you tried, you reached out, and you did it. And 13 different shows, man. That's 13 different audiences, and sure, there's going to be some overlap in audience, but you might find somebody that pops into this one show that is an audience, member of this other show, but they weren't there that time. They didn't see that episode, so they see this brand new. So I mean, it's a numbers game, man. You got to try as many different avenues as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Then it gives you repeated opportunity to talk about your product in a pretty loose way, to where if you are planning on going to conventions after the fact to sell your product, you've got your elevator pitch down.
Yes.
You know how to promote the product because you've been practicing this whole time, whether you know it or not, just by talking about it.
100%, man. And that's crucial. I've talked to people often that don't necessarily have their elevator pitch down as well as they could, and then they go on the campaign trail to try to get the word out there, and then they have that pitch down, because they've said it so many times, because that's always what is asked. Well, what's the elevator pitch for the show, for the book? What's the story about? So you gotta have that figured out. But we gotta jump and chat over here before we get too deep into this. Let's go ahead and say hi to everybody. We got Mr. Michael Rushbrook. He says, "Who dis? Sup, Luke and Frank. Hope you have a great stream. Thank you, brother. Good to see you, sir. Hope you're doing well. Look forward to seeing you again at a convention, and hopefully we'll see you on Topic List tomorrow." Speaking of Topic List, we got my esteemed co-host, Mr. Jason Bascom, Unhinged Deja Vu. That is correct, except the Matrix hasn't changed anything this time. At least I don't think they have. I'm keeping an eye on those bastards.
Would you know?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Skull Gorgeous, there's my beautiful, lovely lady.
Feline, what's up?
My partner in crime, Link Slinger Extraordinaire. She says, "Hey, Frank." And she's already got the link for Hellstones Book 1 in the chat.
In the biz.
Yep, she's awesome. She's slinging these links from her phone while she's doing other things. Oh yeah. That's the thing that impresses the hell out of me, is that she's constantly throwing these links out there, and she's doing this on her phone. So mad props to you, baby. So yeah, hit that link. If you haven't gotten a chance to back the book yet, go do it now. Or, wait until after the stream. I mean, but if you're at your computer, do it now. You can open up a new tab. It's easy.
Right? Yeah.
We got Mr. Mike McMahon in the house. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you, sir.
Hey.
Hells yeah. That's right, sir. Good to see you, brother. And we got Cotton, Mrs. Ministries. What's up, Cotton? Long time no see. When are you going to sing for us again? Soon, man. Soon.
Yeah,
I feel
karaoke stream from you in a long time.
Yeah, I've had a lot going on, but I'm feeling the need for a sing along of Doom here soon. Yeah. So probably when I get back from South Carolina, because I'll be going up to South Carolina to go visit Feline for my birthday. She's the best birthday present I could have. So yeah, when I get back from South Carolina, I think I'll be planning a sing-along of Doom. It's been a while. As a matter of fact, I think it's been since like October or September of last year. Wow. So, yeah, I mean, life flies when you're working on books and going to conventions and doing that artist thing. Yeah. Exactly. Hey, there's a familiar face. What's up, Morb? Says, hey, kids, everything went to print today, according to Brian last night. T-shirts are done. Mercenary Guild book. Oh, well, rock and fucking roll, dude. I was wondering.
Same.
It's good to hear. Yes, Frank and I did work on Mercenary Guild. I did the pencils and inks. Frank did the bomb-ass coloring on my line work. So if you haven't gotten a chance to grab that, go ahead and hit the link in the description of this video so you can grab yourself a copy. I do believe it's still in demand on Indiegogo. What's up, K-Pop? She says, sup, nerds? Sup, K-Pop? Welcome. Good to see you. And she says she's doing what she can on Facebook. Yes, indeed. She's getting them links everywhere. Yep. K-Pop says, you got 10 days. There might be more peeps available. Yes, indeed. Indeed. There might be. We got good stuff in the chat. What's up, dude?
Hey.
Hi. Well, hi yourself, sir. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Hey, we got a Rex in the chat. What's going on, Rex? Long time no see, man. Hope you're doing well. Mike McMahon says, I'm more of an escalator pitch. You know, the slow and steady incline. Okay, I get it. I get it. Let's see. Scrolling, and got the link. So, yeah, go ahead and hit that link, guys, so you can back this awesome book. The guy looks like Hojo. Okay. Yeah. I can see it a little bit, you know. I don't know. Maybe. You might just be high, sir. K-Pop says, I'm reaching out to some podcasts for you. That's awesome.
You're the best.
Rock and roll, K-Pop. Thank you. Appreciate that. And there's the link for all of Frank's stuff, Linktree, Pigmacast. He's also got a YouTube channel, which you guys should absolutely check out. He's got some awesome coloring tutorials over there on his YouTube. So if you're looking into, if you want to see how he does what he does, man.
Absolutely. Been a little absent from YouTube lately doing this whole promoting the book thing. But if you're an aspiring colorist and you have any questions or want to see any tutorials or have, you know, any sort of questions about the color rendering process or comic book making, hit me up. I'll do a video on it.
Right on. So speaking of all of that, I don't know if I asked you this the last time we were hanging out. How did you get into coloring comics? You know, what was your what made you go, you know what, I want to do this. I want to color comics.
Yeah. I distinctly remember it was in 2019. I'd kind of always been
What's up, Seth? Good to see you, bro.
Person, an artist, a jack of all trades. Mm-hmm. And I was like, you know, I'm not getting anywhere with any of this. I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm not great at anything. And I just did a lot of self-reflection, and turned out I really like the color rendering process the most of anything. It tickles my ADHD brain in a way that lets me hyper-focus in on the puzzle of light and shadow and color theory. And that's how I got to the decision. How I got into it was actually doing spray paint and doing a lot of commissions for spray painting.
No shit. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, are you like graffiti spray paint, tagging, or
some, and then it was right around the time of like a lot of the, like, you see people doing like the planets on the street corners and stuff like that. I was doing a lot of that stuff.
Nice.
As well. And that's kind of where I started to figure out what direction I wanted to head. Yeah. And then someone hit me up one day and asked me to do a commission for them. They needed someone to color something. They were like an Etsy illustrator that was doing like comic book covers, like custom comic book covers that might
nice. Okay.
You and your spouse or something. Yeah. And he needed someone to fill in, and I was like, yeah, screw it, I'll give it a go. And then so then that got me into the illustrative coloring and painting. And then I just did commissions, like a bunch of just different freelance commissions like that for pretty much ever until I landed on the project with you with the Mercenary Guild.
Heck,
that was the first full book I've done. I've done a couple other things like this back here, right there. That's the Death of a Super, and it's actually a parody comic of the Death of Superman.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I have a single page that was published in that. Just got done wrapping up on another parody of the Dark Knight 3.
Nice.
And I've got 8 pages in that.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, just kind of fell into it all in a natural way, but from like an artist first perspective rather than like I need to be in comics.
Right. Well, you're just kind of pursuing your passions. You just enjoyed doing the color work, and took an opportunity like, well, shit, I'll try this. And like we were saying earlier, you never know unless you try. That applies to doing an art project as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
It's been great getting me back into comics and graphic novels.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped collecting back in 2005. I was in a house fire and I lost all of my stuff. Everything.
So I've heard stories like that often, but it never gets any easier. Whether it's a flood or a fire or mom sold them all, it always just hurts my comic book loving soul to hear.
It sucks so bad because everything I'd ever had, like all of the comic books I collected, I mean just everything, baseball cards, you name it.
Right.
And so from then on, I was like, I have this innate fear of wanting to collect anything material ever again. So
once bit, twice shy, right?
Right. So it led to me just kind of like just not investing in not only comic books but a lot of different things.
Sure.
On occasion I'd pick up something here or there if something was recommended to me. So I kind of fell out of a lot of stuff. But through being an artist and getting into the indie scene and then being a colorist and now a creator myself, I'm back in and I love it and I missed it so much.
Yep. I've always kind of been keeping an eye on comics. I mean, I stopped reading for a little while, and I mean for a brief little while. I was always kind of trying to keep my ear to the ground and what was what was going on. But then, I mean, I really, I was working at a comic shop. I in 2015 I got hired at my local comic shop. And I had to start paying attention, and I was able to do my job better because I was paying attention. But while I'm working there, I started noticing all of the cool indie stuff at the crowdfunding, and like I kind of watched mainstream comics just take a swan dive into concrete. While I was working there in real time. And so that really kind of pushed me into being more interested in indie books. I mean, I've always kind of had a fascination with indie books. I mean, obviously The Crow, the Ninja Turtles, a lot of Image stuff, Dark Horse. I love the old Dark Horse Predator and Terminator and Alien books. Those were always fun.
Right.
But, seeing the creativity coming out of the indie sector just kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
By the way, Good Stuff says, okay, I made my screen bigger. You don't look like Hojo. My bad. And Frank says that we're both great to work with. Well, thank you, Morb. We appreciate that. And he says, we hired Frank for a reason. Love that guy. Exactly.
Thanks, man.
And Feline says, thank you, Frank, for sending Northridge Studio to me for a comic book stand.
You got it, girl.
Yep, appreciate it, man. We appreciate that. Hey, we got Edwin in the chat. What's going on, Edwin? Good to see you, sir. Welcome. Speaking to somebody that's been doing the indie crowdfunding thing for a while, Edwin's been kicking ass and taking names for a while, and that's what I mean when I say this scene. There's so much creativity in this scene. There are so many cool people that are just pursuing stories that they want to tell. Making good books and entertaining the audience, and that's really what it should be about. And the audience shows up for it. I've been seeing more and more things about, how, AI slop is ruining this and YouTube's cracking down on AI slop and whatnot. And, I think the remedy to AI slop is just to keep making good stuff. People are craving authenticity these days. And the more authentic you can make something, the more authentic you can be when presenting that and, presenting yourself and the book that you're making, the better off you're going to be because people resonate with that.
Yeah.
You know, and I really do feel like that we are in the beginning of an indie renaissance. I mean, we're seeing it in comics. I really feel like we're going to be seeing it in, you know, video games, and then, you know, TV shows, animation, movies, like comic books, video games, and animation, and music. I mean, music kind of had to start doing their own thing a while ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all this stuff is starting to prove that you don't need a publisher. You know what I mean? You don't need to try to get in at either Image or Dark Horse or Marvel or DC. You can do it yourself.
That's right.
You know, we've got the tools to do it. You can get things printed at a professional quality without having to, you know, kowtow to some, you know, publisher's whims. You know, and if you can find a publisher that you know, that vibes with you, good. You know, go for it. But you don't necessarily need them.
You don't. And if you do, be careful.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah.
Don't sell your IP. That's
what's up, Woodrow?
Hold on to it. Woodrow, what's going on?
Good to see you, sir.
Make smart decisions. Make educated decisions. If you're not sure, do the research. If it's over your head or you're afraid to do the research, find somebody that can use your resources.
Yes.
I've seen so many people just get shafted because they think they have a good deal going, but they're just so excited to have the opportunity to put their material out there that they just overlook it. And you can't do that. This is hard work, people. I mean, it's easier than you think it is, but it's still a lot of hard work. You got. It's
also harder than you think it is. It's in this very weird, you know, medium in between. Like it's hard work, you know, but it's easier than, say, roofing for the summer. It's easier than putting down concrete and, you know, breaking your back all day. Let's not get it twisted, but it's still hard work. It's taxing on the mind. You know, there's mental heavy lifting that goes with us.
It's unexpected little things that you would never think of either. That's the curveball. Like, how do you copyright something? So you got to figure out that process if you're worried about copyright. You know, not all indie publishers or producers are, and that's fine too. But you know, going down that rabbit hole and going, well, how do I print something? What's paperweight? What's the best finish on a paper? How do I do covers? You know, like all these little things that you might not think about. Those become the hard things. But guess what? The world of YouTube is out there, and it will teach you everything you need to know. Or reach out to me. I've done it. I don't gatekeep. I'll share all the information.
Right. You know, the internet. I mean, we have these phones, right? And we have the total sum knowledge of human experience at our fingertips. You know, like the Library of Alexandria at our fingertips here, and not really, because the Library of Alexandria had all kinds of stuff that is no longer with us, and yeah, we won't go down that particular rabbit hole today. But you've got the total sum knowledge of human experience at your fingertips. All you have to do is reach out and use it. You got to ask the right questions. And, you know, AI is a tool. Let's be clear. AI is a tool, and it can be used to enhance what we're just like any technology, any you know, tool. It can be used to make things better. Some people will lean on that tool as a crutch, and it will be the only thing. But that's hollow. That is a hollow way to do things.
Yeah.
And the way I see AI being really helpful is doing research. You know, asking questions. You know. My biggest concern with that is, you know, not being able to do the research yourself. But I mean, you've got to be asking questions when you're doing research anyway, right? You've got to be searching. You've got to look for things, and you got to ask the right questions. I mean, you've got to do the same thing with, you know, ChatGPT or Perplexity or any of these other, you know, large language models.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, you've got to learn to use these tools to their best advantage, and the information is out there. You just have to find it. You got to look for it, and that's where the work comes in. Putting the work in to find that information so that you can accurately assess what you need to do in order to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
You're right. Yeah, absolutely. I I would never use AI in anything in print form that I'm going to sell for profit in any way, shape, or form.
There's a hard. It's very
there.
nebulous trying to copyright that shit right now. So
Right.
yeah.
But I mean, I technically used AI on this project just for like organizing, just like keeping me on point. People have been using things like autocorrect and the Clippy icon in Word for forever.
Clippy. Oh shit.
Just use it sparingly. Don't lean on it. Don't become reliant. Like you said, it's a tool.
Yeah.
And that's the best way it can be used, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And helping to organize thoughts is one of the one of the best uses, honestly, for it. I mean, being able to just mind dump something out and then having a large language model organize that for you so it's in a concise format, but even still you've got to ask the exact questions and you've got to tell it to format it a certain way, otherwise you're just going to get an AI regurgitated version of your mind dump. I have a friend that works in IT security, and he plays around with a lot of these different language models, and he's kind of been explaining it to me, how a lot of the AI stuff works, and it helps to understand it. It helps to understand exactly what it is capable of, what it's not capable of, because as much as we could call it artificial intelligence, it's not really it's not sentient. It is only going off of the information that it's given.
Yeah, absolutely. It has to have a point of reference, and it will always refer back to that point of reference. It can't make its own opinion.
No,
it will. It's just a very vast and very good probability calculator. Is really all it is. The term AI isn't accurate at all. It's still just a learning language machine, learning language model. That's really all it is. But the hype is there with the word AI.
Well, yeah, it's buzzwords, man. The internet is all about the fucking buzzwords.
Yeah, of course. Luckily, in my day job, I actually do work in business technology, so
there you go.
I have a pretty good grasp on a lot of that stuff.
Nice. Okay, and I mean, it is definitely about to rapidly change our world. And it is currently rapidly changing our world. So it's not necessarily a bad thing to learn about it. Again, don't become complacent. That is the biggest problem. People became complacent when Photoshop was introduced. I hear this argument a lot when people talk about it being a tool. And yeah, Photoshop was considered cheating at first. Drawing digitally was cheating at first, but you have to have the ability to do it regardless of whether or not you have the Photoshop, it's just a tool. You have to learn to use that tool too, but you have to have the skills to draw in order to be able to use that tool appropriately.
Absolutely. Even me as a colorist, I have to have a good fundamental understanding of color theory and how that works. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just throwing colors at a page, and trust me, it's not going to make sense.
I mean, you can throw colors at a page, but like you said, it's not going to make sense, and it's it may be a detriment to the work you're trying to color rather than a net positive. So you got to learn to use the tools at hand to do it. Thank you, baby, for dropping the link to the website there.
That's right.
I'm going to be putting up my sketchbook, Character Chaos Volume 1, Mainstream Madness. It comes with a sticker. So if you guys are interested in this, go ahead and grab one of those. Or you can, if you don't want to get it from the website, you can hit me up directly on X, and you can get them from me there.
Does one work better for you?
Right now, the easiest way for people to get one is to hit me up on X. Or Facebook or Instagram, one of the social medias. I need to do a little bit of work on my website. Need to update a few things, but like I said, I've been working on books, finishing commissions, going to conventions, all that fun stuff, and it's slowed down a little bit. It's slowed down a little bit, so now I can finally start catching up on things, which is nice. It feels good to be able to catch up on things and get things off of the to-do list.
Yeah, for sure.
Feline says bougie color wheels are very important. Just saying, yes, yes, your bougie color wheel with your goldenrod yellow and like your mauve purple and other words that don't actually make sense as colors. Yes, I see you. Thanks, Morm. I appreciate it, man. He says, "Hit the like, folks." Yes, please. If you're having fun and you're digging the content, please hit the like button, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Tickle that YouTube algorithm because I like doing this stuff. I like talking to creators. I like picking people's brains and talking about comics because I love comics, and obviously Frank does too. You know, the large majority of my guests that come on love comics because comics are fucking awesome.
Damn right.
You know, it's an amazing medium to be able to tell stories with, and it doesn't have to. I mean, obviously, we're here to talk about Hellstones, which is a supernatural book. And it has nothing to do with superheroes. It doesn't have to be superheroes, you know. I know a lot of people think, oh, you know, comic books, oh, they're just superheroes. So no, that's not it, you know, because you got all kinds of different stuff. Right. What is your favorite non-superhero comic book?
My favorite non-superhero comic book.
Yeah,
man, I like a lot of Crow.
Yes.
I really like a lot of the mythical and supernatural aspects of Sandman.
Yeah.
The especially when I was you know, in my teens, Sandman hit hard for me because not only was it not a superhero book,
right,
but it was also like depressing and mythological and grounded. Oddly for being how out there it really is.
Right. Well, you know, it had its grounded aspects, but then it went into that whole like surreal, ethereal realm. You know, that was the cool thing about it. You know, it was different. It was different from anything else that was being published at the time, and it fit with the fucking time period. You know, the 90s.
Oh yeah, especially if you were, you know, an angsty outsider teen back then. That just hit hard.
Goth, punk rock, goth rock, you know, all that stuff, you know, metalheads. I mean, it everybody fucking loved that shit.
And then on the other side of that, at around the same time, I was also very much into like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
Oh yeah,
which is still not superhero, but the complete opposite. Just some goofy madness.
Yonan Dirge. Yonan Vasquez did Johnny the Homicidal Maniacs, and Roman Dirge did Lenore and Squee.
Yeah,
but I mean, you know, slave labor graphics, man. That was back when they were doing their thing. You know, they were like, you know, goth central for goth comics.
Yeah, you know? I have an acrylic painting up here that I did a couple years back.
Grr! Fucking love Grr, dude. Fucking Invader Zim, hold that up again. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. Hell yeah. Yeah, I love Invader Zim. Fucking love Invader Zim. What a great cartoon.
Yeah.
You know. And absolutely, you know, 100% Yonan Vasquez. I mean, that cartoon is so him. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. It translated so well to animation. Just
it
so
really
fun.
Did. Morb says DC's Weird War and Marvel Alien Legion. Yeah,
sure.
Yep. Good stuff there. Alien Legion needs a TV show. Sure. Seth says Slave Labor Graphics was one hell of a company. Miss their stuff. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. There hasn't really been another company quite like them. And I don't even know if they still do their thing. You know, IDW when they first started was kind of like a very much horror centric because they did 30 Days of Night and they were doing all kinds of stuff, and then they started getting licensed stuff, and then they kind of became more mainstream, I guess, for lack of a better term. You know, because they started doing a bunch of licensed stuff. But yeah, I miss the old independent days. You know, I miss I don't know. There's a certain quality to indie books. I mean, obviously, I love Poison Elves. You know, Poison Elves is and will always be my favorite indie comic of all time. You know, and there's a certain quality to black and white indie books that I don't know. doesn't seem it doesn't seem to be matched. I mean, I love color comics too. Don't get me wrong. But there's a certain quality to, and maybe it's just the time period, that it was created in. Because oftentimes, like The Crow, for instance, The Crow is very much a product of its time period, the original Crow series from O'Barr. Because none of the other Crows that came after that had that same spark of amazing. I mean, they were cool, don't get me wrong, especially the ones that Alex Maleev did. I mean, those are some great looking books, but they didn't have that same, charisma, that same chutzpah, I guess. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure I know exactly the right word I'm looking for, but it didn't have that same spark. The first Crow was lightning in a bottle, and it's really hard to try to capture that again. And there was a lot of cool shit in the 90s, the 80s and 90s that we just don't see anymore.
Yeah, that's very true. And I'm a colorist, so it sounds weird to say, but not everything needs to be colored, people.
True. Very true.
Like Liam Sharp is doing a lot of art for Conan right now, and it looks badass.
Yeah, it does. Holy shit!
My
man.
God, the detail that dude. Oh my God,
just chef's kiss. Just love his work.
A lot of the stuff he's sharing is pre-color work, and it just looks better to me. It just looks better. Don't get me wrong; the color work that I've seen on all that stuff, of course, is fantastic.
Right.
But to me, like, if there was a black and white run, that'd be so good.
I mean, speaking of like black and white line works, I mean, my boy Shelby sent me this, and this is the French edition of Weapon X, but just pure black and white Barry Windsor Smith line work. My God, man, this I pore over this. Like this is one of my favorite books to just stare at and study, because Barry Windsor Smith is one of those artists that just, his line work has always blown me away. And this book right here, like Weapon X in general, blew my mind when I was a kid. I didn't realize that comic books and even superhero comics could be that, that in-depth, that dark, that visceral. And it definitely changed my outlook on comics and made me, want to seek out more stuff like that. And that's probably why I love Poison Elms as much as I do, because it is that same kind of dark, but there's a certain amount of depth to the story and the characters that make you care.
Yeah.
So the darkness, the violence, but the fucking quality line work. I mean, I love that stuff, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I love a book that will weigh things with like real or weighted consequence.
Yeah,
like things like Superman and stuff is great, and Superman has his own consequences. It's just in a different way. It's a lot of like relationships or letting people down or whatever, things along those lines. But like real world decisions and things that you can almost kind of see yourself being a decision maker in. That stuff feels so awesome to me.
It's the stuff you resonate with, and that's I feel like that's the key to a good story. You tell the story that's going to resonate with people, and tell the story that you yourself would enjoy to read, and chances are you're going to find a bunch of other weirdos out there on the internet and across the world that are looking to read the same kind of story.
Absolutely. And it's that same mentality that I brought into my story, Hellstones. It's a 12-book series, and it's already written, so I already know the whole story. It's all done, really, except for the art.
Right.
But in this story, it's gritty. It's real. It's about consequence. What choices are you going to make when you're the only one that has the power to make those choices? Are they the right choices? How much of yourself are you willing to sacrifice in the greater scheme of things for what you feel is for the greater good? Whether you're right or wrong, you don't know. What would you do? It just explores those very real concepts in a supernatural, chaotic way.
Making people think, and that's that in and of itself is is an awesome thing when it comes to a story, you know, because the stories that really stick with you, the ones that really just kind of like stick in your head and hang on there, and you go back and you think about certain aspects of it. You think about certain things that characters said or did or interactions they had, and those are the ones that you come back to, you know, that you want to read again, that you tell your friends about, that you recommend to people that they check out because it left an impact on you. And, you know, those stories that, you know, give those moments, you know, and that comes from authentic storytelling. That comes from, you know, really coming from a place where you want to give that experience and you want to take people on a journey, you know, and that's what you're doing with Hellstones. This is book 0, so you're getting in on the ground floor, the very ground floor. So let's go ahead and take a look at the trailer here.
The world is broken. Greed and fanaticism have fractured everything we know. And at the heart of this chaos are ancient relics. Hellstones. They grant incredible powers, but always at a price. I've spent my life trying to stay out of sight. But now I'm caught between ruthless megacorporations and deadly cults, each desperate to control the Hellstones. The Hellstones unlock something ancient, something none of them understand. But they want them anyway, and they'll kill to get them. This fight isn't one I chose, but it's mine now. Every step pulls me deeper into the darkness. I'm starting to wonder, how much of myself am I willing to lose to protect these stones? My name is Sam. And if they want the world, they'll have to go through me.
Hell yeah.
Man, I'm so proud of that trailer.
That is a damn good trailer, bro. Like that is a damn good trailer. And it perfectly encapsulates, you know, what you're trying to say with the story, and it gives that emotional impact.
Yeah.
You know? It's if that doesn't hook you and make you want to check out this book, I don't know what will. You know, seriously. Yep. Feline says fire and damn good. And Morb says Frankie is great. Yes, indeed. He's done a great job on this book. You know, so yeah, this is the book. You guys can get in on it, and it's, you know, it's a relatively simple campaign. Nothing over the top. You get a physical copy for $9, which is a hell of a great deal. And so you're doing the colors on it, doing the writing. What's your artist's name?
Epilo St. Paul.
Epilo St. Paul. And
right.
this is the cover. And how many pages are we looking at for this book?
So it's 8 pages of story plus an additional 4 or 5 pages of bonus material, like behind the scenes lore, some, you know, pencil sketches. I also included the original 1-page story that I wrote 10 years ago that inspired this entire thing. I put that unedited right there in the back of the book, just so people can see where one little 1-page thing that meant nothing at the time can blossom into.
It's like planting a seed. You know, I believe that when we get the seeds for stories, you know, we have to water them. You know, we allow them to germinate, you know, within our mind, and then you get an idea that will add to it. But you've got to put the effort into writing that idea down at first. You know. That's like planting the seed. That's giving it a little bit of food and water to then sprout and germinate within your mind and build to something more. And that's clearly what's happened here. So 10 years ago is when you first wrote down the idea for this.
That's right.
And you've just kind of been adding to it over the years?
Yeah. I would just, you know, I would say for the first year and a half, I completely forgot about it. Put it out of my mind.
Yep.
And then I circled back to it on a whim, and I was like, this was actually pretty cool. I wonder what else I could throw into this world. And then, over time, I would just slowly add to it, not knowing what it was going to be.
Yeah.
If anything, I was just going, this is just a creative exercise.
Sure.
Maybe I'll turn it into a D&D campaign. Maybe it'll be, a short story. Mm-hmm. And then, the path of becoming a colorist and getting into the indie comic book scene led to all this other knowledge that I was gaining. And then at the end of the day, I was like, I bet I could make this a comic book. I bet it would be pretty sick.
Yeah. Well,
like you were talking earlier, comic books are such a unique medium. Yes. You're telling a story with not only words but also images, and that's just you don't get that outside of the illustrative arts.
Yeah. I mean, movies and TV shows do that to a certain degree, but it's not still images. And movies and TV, they don't necessarily require the participation of the audience. They just play. And you kind of sit there and you watch, and you can veg out to it. And sometimes it's fun to just, kick back, relax, and veg out and watch something. Let your brain relax. But comics, much like novels and books, they require audience participation. They require you to be involved with the story that you are reading. And it makes you connect the dots between the panels, because the action, the movement happens between panels, and the storytelling happens between panels. Yes, you've got the pictures that give you the beats of the story, but your mind has to stitch them together in order for it to be a cohesive narrative. And that's where I feel comics are so incredibly unique. It like you said, it's a unique method of storytelling. It's a beautiful alchemy of story and image, and just this creation. It's a gestalt of things. It is bigger than the sum of its parts. And that's why I love it so much. And
after taking the time to script out 12 books of Hellstones, I can't see it happening any other way.
Yeah. And when you start working on something, you start pursuing an avenue with a story, sometimes you could see it being a couple of different things. And once you start working on it a certain way, you start tailoring the story for that method of storytelling. And, it unlocks different aspects of the story that you may not have been able to get to, say, if this was a D&D campaign. Say if this was like just a novel or like a video game or an animated series. There are certain things that you may not have been able to touch on because, you're not sure if the player is going to go over that way, whether it's a D&D campaign or, the player of a video game. You're not sure if it's going to bring, if they're going to touch on that aspect. But this, you get to bring about all the different aspects of the story that you really want to tell. You get to tell the story that you really want to tell, and curate it for the audience.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Frank dodges tornadoes to finish a book. That's right.
That is
Frank
true.
the tornado dodger.
That's true. Here, being in Nebraska, that's a very real thing.
You're right in Tornado Alley, man. So, but you got the digital wallpapers unlocked.
Digital wallpapers and digital soundtrack. I actually combined the first two bundles into one digital stretch bundle.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Shit, you guys gonna get a soundtrack with the campaign, with the book? That's awesome.
So it's an extended cut of the music from the trailer, and then 2 additional bonus tracks that are along the same vein. They have that same moody, powerful sense to them. So just something to kick on in the background while you thumb through the book, just to hit those vibes on another level,
I love that, man, because, obviously I took the name DeathMetalHero. I love music. I love death metal, obviously, but I love music in general, and I feel like music can absolutely enhance the reading of a comic book.
Undoubtedly.
when I'm working on projects, I have certain soundtracks that I have put together, playlists, curated playlists that I play when I'm writing a certain project, when I'm penciling and inking another project, and it kind of helps set the mood and the tone, and it helps put me in that world. It's all part of that getting into the flow state. Right. It helps. It sets the stage in my brain. So I know exactly where I'm at and what I'm working on. It reinforces it to a certain degree.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we got stickers. If the next stretch goal gets made, those are some dope stickers, dude. I love this one right here just because it kind of reminds me of the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, you're not the first to say it.
Oh, I'm sure because that's immediately where my mind went because fucking comic nerd over here.
Right. No, it's intentional.
Yeah. Little thing to draw you in and make. Well, hey, I wonder. I know what the Infinity Stones are, and thanks to the Avengers movies, everybody knows what the Infinity Stones are now. So I mean, this is drawing on the cultural zeitgeist to entice people to come check it out. So I dig it, man. It's using the tools available to you.
That's right.
Tapping into that knowledge, and a bookmark. Get to 1750, and then So at 2,500, a digital black and white edition of Hellstones. Ooh,
right.
And he's got some great line work.
Fantastic.
I really dig the black and white line work, man.
Yeah,
and a mini poster.
Yeah, mini poster and a
Lucid Holdings, and oh my God! So let's if you get it to 2,500, you get all this stuff as well. That's crazy, man.
Trying to do what I can. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and this is just a first campaign, so I mean, this is
right.
cool stuff to see. And even if it doesn't make it to these stretch goals this time around, I mean, there's always the next issue.
Absolutely.
You said that you got 12 issues of this planned?
Absolutely, yeah. 12 issues, man. 12 issues. I know the start, the middle, and the end. Like I said, it's all written out.
That's awesome. Now, so I mean, I guess it's like you said, you have it all written out. So would there be? Do you think you would do like little spin-off one-shots along the way? Are there certain points in the story that you feel like you could embellish that maybe necessarily wouldn't fit in the main storyline, but might
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's so much room in this story for spin-offs or adjacent things that might be happening.
Right.
And I said I wrote this, as a complete story in 12 books, but I mean, the history of the Hellstones goes back to Lucifer getting kicked out of heaven. There's so much history from that point to where this book is. So I mean, doing stuff that took place in the past, doing like alternative history stories that fit within this world would make sense.
Right.
There's lots of room for fun there.
Oh yeah, I mean you got centuries of mythos to play with in that regard. So yeah, that's awesome. I like to hear that. I mean I'm a sucker for story, and I like epic stories. So I'm always down to hear that there's room for more. There's room for little bits that can be added here and there to enhance the story, as it were.
Yeah, I would love to collaborate with another writer on what their take might be for one of those small little historical moments.
Yeah,
I think that would be really cool for me to set the foundation, set the rules of how things work.
Right.
And what would your take be on this subject or this time period or something? Yeah. To me, that would be a really cool way to collaborate.
Heck yeah, and
I can still stay on as colorist too. So
still there. Exactly. And that kind of has like a Sandman type aspect to it, because one of the cool things about Sandman is that it stretched over many different time periods, and you could do just about anything. And since you're working with so much different mythos, you could do time, like in the Roman Empire or something like that, or the British Empire. It's just that's cool, and that flexibility is fucking awesome to be able to do.
Right?
Because
how did Genghis Khan rise to such great power?
Right.
I had a Hellstone, right, guys? Maybe a couple. Who knows? Let's tell that story.
The limitations are limitless. I love the sound of that, man. So signed physical copy for $9. Do that, and then
right.
Hellbound Patreon Limited. Tell me about this one here.
Yeah, the Hellbound Patron. This was kind of my way of giving back and then not being gatekeepy.
Okay. Yeah.
Not only do you get the signed copy of the book and the digital edition, plus any stretch goals or perks that are unlocked,
right?
But you'll also get to book some time with me, just one-on-one to talk about whatever you would like. The comic book creation process, maybe the color rendering process, kind of whatever you like. Just that one-on-one time with somebody that has some experience in the area.
Yeah.
And aside from that, a special thank you in the credits for backing the project and making this thing happen, because without people backing, it just wouldn't be a reality.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true in this, especially. Well, I mean, in any kind of publishing thing, making a project, you got to have the fans, but especially in this indie scene, like in crowdfunding, indie comics. I mean, wouldn't be able to do this without the fans, without the backers showing up and making it possible. Right. plunking their hard-earned money down, saying, I believe in your project. I believe in what you've shown me, and I want to see it. I want to see it come to fruition. And that, I think that's amazing, man. I love seeing that. That's a reassurance that there are other people out there that dig what you're putting down. Like I said, them other weirdos out there on the internet that are into the same shit you are.
That's right.
Gotta love that, man. And that's a cool, unique perk, man. I dig that. I think that's a unique thing to offer people, especially people that might be curious, might not know, certain things about making comics and doing the coloring. So I think that's a cool perk. Very unique. You don't really see that all the time. And this, I love seeing this, dude. I know that people bemoan the retailer packs and the retailer bundles. I love seeing it because I worked in my comic shop, and I always try to get the owner to order some indie books, and like, these are really good. They're and she never did. But I will say this: I did get Absolute Book 1 and 2, Jason's book. I also got Merry Boys, the first 3 issues of that, and I got those directly from Jason and then Chubb and Monica, and I sold them in the comic shop. Awesome. I had no issues selling them in the comic shop, but the biggest hurdle I find for comic shops to sell retailer bundles like this, to be able to sell indie books, is that there are so many different books out there coming from, Diamond has kind of gone belly up, but right. From Marvel and DC, being distributed by Penguin and Luna, and you got Image and all these different books. There's so much out there that it's hard for them to read all of the stuff. And being familiar with the books is the best way to make sure that you help your customers find cool shit to read.
Yeah, someone's got to be able to advocate for them.
Yes, that is 100% it.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And getting the either the owner or one of the store people to read the book, and I mean actually read the book, not just thumb through it and say, "Hey, yeah, that looks pretty cool." No, like getting them to actually read the book and absorb it. That's the uphill battle. But I do love seeing a retailer bundle pack, and I want people to keep doing that, because if the retailers know that there are ways to get cool indie books outside of the usual channels, I think eventually they will start taking people up on it. They'll eventually start using it, But
Absolutely.
Again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you don't take the shot, you can't give the opportunity. If it's not available, then they can't buy it.
Absolutely. It's a silly thing to not add, because it costs you nothing to just throw it up there and see what happens.
Exactly. Exactly. And, you might get a retailer that's like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on this book, because I guarantee that there are some retailers out there that go through, that troll through the indie comics postings, and they check shit out. They look to see what's there. Yeah. I mean, if they're invested in their store, you would think. I realize that it's all scattered now, and it was so much easier to order just from one company and whatnot. Yes, well, that was also a single point of failure for the comic book industry. That's a digression for another time. But you gotta put the work in. You gotta look for things. There's so many good books out there. They just have to be found. Especially if it's well put together and had a draw. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So you gotta. Yep. I'm hoping that more retailers start paying attention to the indie comics that are not in the catalogs, not in, not available in the bigger distribution. Hell, I would love to see somebody put together like an indie version of Diamond. You know what I mean? Some entrepreneurial spirit that wants to get a bunch of indie books together and to be able to distribute them and make it super easy for retailers to order indie books. I think that would be amazing because you want to make it as easy as possible for people to order your books.
Right. It's so hard. I mean, there's so many great things out there, but it's also like going into like a huge record store and just thumbing through everything to maybe find something. If someone can organize that chaos and catalog it and make it easier, it would be so beneficial to everybody.
I agree. I feel like there's a model for it out there somewhere. It just needs to be discovered. Somebody's got to figure it out. And obviously it's got to be profitable for everybody involved. Otherwise, why do it? And I mean, I understand, the direct to consumer market is fantastic. Being able to directly connect with your customers, directly connect with your audience, like we're doing right now. You and I are having a conversation, but we are connecting with the people in the audience here. They're listening to our conversation. Frank's here, Michael Rushbrook's here, Mike McMahon's here, Seth is here, Tokame. These are the people that are in the audience and they're listening, they're hearing the conversations, they're asking questions, they're connecting with us. This is the beauty of the direct-to-consumer model, and I love it. But there is an entire subsection of people that only understand the comic shop, that only go to the comic shop. They are not even aware of this whole scene. And I know everybody that watches my channel, they know what I'm about to say. Brian Pulido with Lady Death made sure that he didn't leave anybody behind. He did the whole crowdfunding thing and did the prestige format, book with 48 pages. And then he split it up into 2 single issues. And he put that in the Diamond to make sure that anybody that actually wanted to buy Lady Death at their comic shop could do that. And I think it's a beautiful, beautiful model.
Yeah.
I think that's the way to do it. No fan left behind. Billy Tucci said that, and that's why he would do Indiegogo and Kickstarter and all that. And I agree with that. Any fan that wants to be able to get your book should be able to get your book. I think that's the way it should be done.
Right. Yeah.
We're here. That's right. We appreciate it, man. Thank you,
That's
Michael.
Right. Thanks
appreciate
for hanging
you, brother.
out. Really appreciate it.
There's a Capricorn out there somewhere that would step up to that task. Yes, indeed. Would take a Capricorn, wouldn't it? And Feline says, Dave's not here, man.
Yeah, Dave's not here, man.
No, I'm Dave. It's fucking great, man. This again, man. I'm super excited for you. I'm so glad that you hit your funding goal and you knocked out the first stretch goal, getting the digital soundtrack and the wallpapers. I'm super excited for you, man, and I'm super excited for everybody to get their hands on this book. Yeah. Now, when are you looking to fulfill?
September.
Oh, wow. So right. Like a couple of months from now. So guys, you back this book, you're going to get it in like a month and a half.
That's
like
right.
Less than. That's fantastic, man.
It's already done. I've already got proof's in. I've approved of everything. You just need to place your order so I know how many books to get, guys.
There you go. See, this is basically a pre-order, you know? Yeah. How easy is that, you know? Woodrow says, congrats on funding.
Thank
you.
Yes,
indeed, man. Yes,
indeed. Yeah, the funding goal of $750 was enough to cover the cost for me to break even on this. Everything that we make after this is going directly into production for book 1. I've already started storyboarding book 1. Excellent. We're already ahead of the curve. We're moving forward. We're moving fast.
That was my next question. When would you be looking to do book 1?
Yeah, I would love to shoot for about March of next year, but that's a very aggressive timeline. That would be great to hit that. I don't know if that's going to be realistic or not, but fast. I want to be able. My goal is to be able to put out 2 a year.
Yeah.
And that's tough though, because I'm doing everything on this aside from the liner, and that's a heavy lift.
Sure.
So hopefully we can make it all work. But I want to move fast on this stuff. I don't want to leave people waiting, because I know once you get into the story, you're gonna want the next one soon.
Yeah, I mean, I can vouch. I have read this, and it is enticing. And there is a quote from me right here: "Well-crafted world building, concisely setting the stage for an epic story of power, myth, and legend." And I'm here for it. Damn right I am. That's why I'm excited for this to be funded. I'm excited for you guys to get your hands on this, because it is absolutely going to whet your appetite for this, especially if you love supernatural comics. This is going to tickle that itch. You know, it's going to whet that appetite. So make sure that you grab yourself a copy of this book. Now, how many pages are you looking to do per issue after this? Because this is a teaser book.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking at 22 to 24 pages awesome. From here on out. So we're looking at standard size. So
that's awesome. Heck yeah, man. Yeah, that is definitely an aggressive timeline for getting the next book out. But I mean, you know, if you can hit it, you can. But you know, you don't have. The beauty of doing this independently is that you don't have to rush it. You know, you do it on your timeline, you get it done to your specifications, and make sure it is the quality book that you want to put out. And that's the beauty of doing it independently. You're not beholden to anybody or their timeline.
That's true. That's true. And quality to me is at the utmost. I mean, I want to put out the best product I can.
Yes.
And I put everything I could into this book, guys. I would say, not to toot my own horn, but as far as indie books go, especially for someone's first go at an indie book, this thing looks damn great. I'm so fucking proud of it.
You should be. The book looks fantastic. You know, seriously, I mean, you guys can see examples of the page. You know, the pages here. This page is awesome. I love the showdown between Lucifer and that's Michael, right?
That's right.
Yeah, Lucifer and Michael. And, you know, it kind of sets the stage for where the Hellstones came from. So hit that link that Feline just dropped into the chat there for you, and go check this out. You know, go give this little couple of pages a read. And yeah, the line work on this page or on this book is great. I'm really, really happy for you guys and the way it turned out. So yeah, I have to agree. It looks great, and Feline agrees as well. You know, it does look good. It looks damn good. So guys, go hit that link. Go check this out. All right, so fulfillment in September, and then the actual first issue planned for March of next year. You know, so it's coming. You know, so you won't be left hanging. You won't be wondering where the next issue is. You won't be wondering, you know, where the story is going to go for long. So if you can, go ahead and back this book so that that Frank can get rolling on the next issue.
That's right. Yeah, we're gonna try and flip it around as quick as possible. Kickstarter takes 3-4 weeks to pay out, and then of course ordering the prints is going to take another 2-3 weeks. So we're looking at that mid to end September. Yep,
but I mean that's guys. Compared to how long you've waited for some campaigns, that's a great turnaround. So I mean, hell, I've waited for there's stuff that I ordered from my comic shop when I was working there that like just never showed up. That I ordered from Diamond, mind you. So it's not just it is not just exclusive to crowdfunded books that shit just disappears. It happens with Diamond a lot as well. So let's be clear about that. But you're not going to wait for a long time for this. The story's already done. The artwork's already done. The book is ready to rock and roll. He's already gotten the proofs. So all you got to do is put your order in, and you will get your book in no time.
U.S.-based printing as well. We don't have to worry about tariffs or things getting stuck in China. It's guaranteed. We're going.
There you go. See? You can't beat that, guys. So go ahead, hit that link. Go grab yourself a copy of Hellstones #0, Echoes of Eternity. So is there anything else that you would like to say about this book before we wrap up? Because we've been going for about an hour or 10 now.
Yeah. Well, thanks again for having me. Thanks
of course,
for me.
dude.
You're the first part deux that you've had.
Part deux.
I'm honored. That means a lot.
Hell yeah, man. You're always welcome.
One last little pitch here. Again, Hellstones is a story about power, sacrifice, and what it costs to fight back when the system's broken. And if that hits home, if that resonates with you, get yourself a copy. You won't regret it.
That's right. Well said, sir. Well said. So, guys, hit that link in the description or in the chat there that Feline has dropped for you guys. And she's throwing the horns and the fire. Yes, indeed. Hell yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for coming to watch out. Frank, thank you for coming to hang out. It's always a pleasure talking with you, man. I always enjoy our conversation. Time just flew by. And you're always anytime. So that when the next book is ready to rock and roll, you know where to come. You come here, hang out. We'll talk about the next issue of Hellstones. Chat, you guys are amazing. And remember,
shop smart, shop S-Smart.